What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? Welcome to the first ever Midfield Mindset Grand Prix watch along. I am Danny Alvarez. Many of you know me, and I do go by on social media as Ringwalk Danny. Uh, Known in the sports world, I guess, as covering boxing, but I have recently fell in love with Formula One, and I just wanted to put all this energy into something positive. So I've created this platform and this channel. I am one of those fans who fell in love, I guess, if you will, with F1 through Drive to Survive, and friends who were watching it influenced me to start watching it. So man, I'm really excited for the season. Really excited for what's to come and to just continue to, learn about the sport. I do want to make it clear this is more of a casual fun um aspect of it, hence the midfield mindset. um I'm not saying I'm the most knowledgeable, not in F1, but definitely have been doing my homework and I'm looking forward to what's to come. So uh yeah, guys, we're just moments away from the Bahrain Grand Prix. It is a Red Bull front row. Max and Checo coming in first and second respectively, and Charles Leclerc to close it out. So definitely excited, definitely looking forward to it. The qualifying was so intense, um, from Q1 all the way to Q3. So really excited to see what's to come. Um, and just watch the races and have fun. Hopefully you guys tune in and enjoy with me. Right now I am seeing the F1 TV stream, the pre-race show. They are speaking of Toto Wolff, the Mercedes team captain. um and they just got through interviewing who was it, Christian Horner of Red Bull Racing as well. So, the teams are getting ready. I can't wait. I am based here in Vegas. I've been living in Vegas for several years now. And that's when I got into covering sports. I got into the media side of things, if you will. I've been in the boxing world now for a little over 4 years. I am co host on the Boxing Voice podcast, the biggest podcast in boxing. I'm not saying that. You guys can look that up. So we do a show out of the Win Hotel and Casino, which is on the Strip here in Vegas. The same hotel that they ran the F1 car through the casino. We saw the promo for that maybe back in October, November of last year. Um, Promoting obviously the upcoming F1 race here in Vegas. So really excited about that and really excited what's to come. The Win themselves are offering a $1 million package for the F1 in Vegas later this year. Caesars has a $3 million package, I believe, and they even have a $5 million package, if I'm not mistaken. So it's gonna be interesting. So we see right now Gulf Air with the Bahrain Grand Prix stamp, and it's doing a flyover. I think that's the first time I've ever seen a commercial aircraft do a flyover to any sporting event. So that was pretty cool to see something new, something different, right? So just minutes away in Bahrain. Really excited. Yo, what a weekend for Fernando Alonso, right? We'll see how he does today. But the old guy, if you will, in the Aston Martin having a lot of success through the practice and through the qualifiers. So looking forward to what he is able to do today in Bahrain. So we are just minutes away. I am excited. And do appreciate everybody. I know this is new, probably not many people tuned in, but if you are, smash that like button. Give me a subscribe. I will be going live for all the Grand Prix and eventually all the qualifiers as well. I know this isn't the most ideal. We did have another studio uh, in play for today that we had to unfortunately unfortunately they canceled on me. So we're here, we're home, we're still gonna rock and roll. No biggie. And man, I'm looking forward to it. Can Lewis Hamilton can Lewis Hamilton make a comeback, right? It seems like Red Bull and Ferrari are the strongest, and that's who I expect to have the most success today. It seems like Red Bull has a very, very fast car, probably the fastest in the field. And Ferrari very fast as well. So, but can Mercedes, can Lewis Hamilton come back? Can he be back in contention? We will see. I think I think we see him back on the podium quite a bit this year. But man, it is so hard to deny Max Verstappen in that really fast Red Bull car. So it looks like top speed in Bahrain, 203 miles an hour, 15 turns with nearly 17-meter elevation change. So right now, on F1 TV, they are previewing the the race a little bit, kind of highlighting some of the turns, some of the things to look out for. And if you guys didn't pick up on it, I guess I'll point out, I am from Chicago, so I am wearing in honor of Max Verstappen, the back-to-back championship. I do have some F1 gear in the mail on the way, but I'm like, it's only fitting. There is a lot of controversy behind his championships, but hey, uh in what sport isn't there controversy? You know, I cover boxing. I am a diehard sports fan in both NFL, NBA, MLB. Being from Chicago, it's tough. It's tough. Beautiful. So being from Chicago, it's tough. Fucking being a sports fan of other sports teams in Chicago. I'm a White Sox fan. Only one World Series. Blackhawks, they gave me a couple Stanley Cups, but honestly, that's when I became a fan, was when they start winning. We have the Bulls, who they won when I was like 2, and then the Bears haven't won since my mother was like a teenager. So it's hard, it's hard, but I think that Max is a hell of a driver. I will not deny that there is a lot of controversy behind him, but once again, there's controversy in everything. Um, shit, he's already caught some flack, obviously, this weekend, showing up with the jewelry. Yeah, I'm all for that. The FIA is a little fancy, obviously, because I didn't even know that was a thing. We watch these professional sports athletes showing up with the jewelry all the time. So for me to see Lewis Hamilton, that's dope, but I guess that's an issue with the FIA. Max Verstappen on camera as we speak right now. So I am a one-man show right now. So I, just double checking my live audio, making sure that I sound good, making sure that everything is all good, as we are moments away from lights out. And I fucking can't wait. Let's go. So, nearly time. Green light for the formation lap, and the cars are out. Obviously, Verstappen, Checo, Leclerc, and then Carlos Sainz in fourth. So we'll see the formation lap. The cars are out trying to get those tires warm, right? And let me see. Yeah, so if you guys ever see me on my phone, yo, one man show just trying to make shit shake. But so the entire field except Kevin Magnussen is on soft tires. Kevin's on hards right now. So it'll be interesting because obviously 19 of the 20 drivers are on the same tires, essentially, on the soft tires. And then you only have one driver in Kevin Magnussen on hard tires. So it should be a two stop. We should expect to see two tire changes here, is what they're saying on F1 TV. I've let it be known, I've let it be clear. I am a casual fan. I fell in love through Drive to Survive. I had a friend pushing it on me, and I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't just Drive to Survive, it was also TikTok. It was also TikTok. Um, there's a lot of controversy regarding Checo and Max, and that made it to my timeline. But we do have people in the chat. The greediest says, what up, champ? What up? Let me see. What you got? What you got for me? I might have to pull you up separately. Hold on. Cause I can't quite see what you're saying. Yeah. Pull up the chat on my phone. Cause I got numerous windows open, numerous things open. So let's see. Appreciate you tuning in, champ. We do have the greediest in the chat tuning in, rocking out with your boy early morning, 7 a.m. here in Las Vegas. So 10 a.m. for my people on the East Coast. If you're in London, it should be early afternoon. Yeah, I'm a one-man show, but the greedy's saying, yo, ring walk, what's the deal, my boy? So I do go about ring walk in the boxing world because I bring the coverage from behind the scenes to in the ring, hence the ring walk. Um, he says quali pace don't mean nothing in a race. I'll say this: I've never seen qualies that tight, bro. It was like a second and a half separating the drivers. The Red Bull and the Ferrari does have strong pace, but the cars are lined up. 5 lights, let's go, baby. Lights out and they're off. Let's go, baby. Okay. Nearly contact between Checo and fucking Leclerc. Leclerc overtook Perez. Oh man. So Verstappen, Leclerc in first and second. Damn. Lewis Hamilton moved up. He's now in fifth. Oh. George Russell trying to find his way. So it's still Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez, Sainz in fourth. And Verstappen looking fast in that front position. Yeah, man. Checo got overtook quick by Leclerc, but Leclerc's hell of a driver in a fast car. Obviously, being the Mexican American, I'm a big supporter of Checo. But they're off, man. Hamilton holding off strong in fifth. Russell very close behind in 6th. So it is more than a second gap between Verstappen and Leclerc right now. Let's see. Alonso all the way in 7th. Norris in 10th. As they finish up the first lap, and now yellow flag is out. It seems like that might have been it seems like that yellow flags for that debris. Sargent, the only American driver driving for Williams, been moving up, has took up 3 places. Just like his teammate Alex Albon has moved up 3 places from where they started. So we see that replay of Lance Stroll hitting the back of fucking Russell, it seems like. And Verstappen looking fast. So Hamilton's moved up 2 places, currently in 5th. 2 places from where he started in 7th. And Magnussen, the only driver on the field in hard tires, not having success as he's dropped 2 places. So, pardon with me. All right. Oh man, fucking Checo got overtook so quick. And Verstappen increasing that time lead nearly 2 seconds now on Leclerc. So definitely a fast car in that Red Bull that he's driving. And if you are tuned in and you happen to come across my live, this is the first ever Midfield Mindset Grand Prix watch along. And I appreciate everybody tuned in. As I was saying earlier, this is something that I fell in love with through Drive to Survive. I am no expert, nor am I claiming to be one, but all this energy that F1 brought to me and just having so much fun with it, I figured why not put that energy into something positive, and I've created this platform so you can expect live Grand Prix watch-alongs for all 23 Grand Prix this year. Eventually I'll be doing live watch-alongs for all the qualifiers as well. Expect a lot of F1 coverage, especially here in Vegas, as I do reside here. So you can expect a lot of behind the scenes, especially with some of the VIP packages that are being put together for this very famous F1 race here in Vegas later this year. And we see that contact there with Charles and Sergio Perez in lap 1 as Charles overtook Perez. Great aggression there. And the top 5 still the same. Nothing's changed other than Leclerc overtaking Perez. So it is Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez, Sainz, and Hamilton to round out the top 5. Norris still holding strong at 10. And the American in Logan Sargent in 13th. So can the American get points? We shall see. 4th lap out of 57 here in Bahrain. If you are tuned in, leave me a comment. Yo, Verstappen just fucking increasing that lead. It's now a 3-second gap between Max and Leclerc. And Leclerc with more than a second gap between himself and Checo. So Checo's going to have to do some work to regain that second place position. And now Alex Albon in the Williams has overtook Norris. Norris has dropped from 10th to 12th. So a fan favorite in and Norris, he's trying to fight for points as well. So it's gonna be an interesting day, a long, fast race. But Max Verstappen just looking so fast, just increasing that time between himself and Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. Can Max three-peat? What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat below. Can Max three-peat? Or who do you have winning the championship this year? Lance Stroll has overtook Valtteri Bottas in the Aston Martin. Bottas in the Alfa Romeo. So Lance Stroll now up to 8th, back to where he originally started. If Max win this race, he won't win the championship. Yo, explain your logic. Uh is that like a stat? Is there like a high percentage of drivers that win the first race to not win the championship? Let me know. I'm just curious. Damn, man. Max 4 second gap. 4 second lead he has on Charles, who's the second place driver. That's a fast car that Red Bull's put out. But there's chatter. There is some chatter of people suggesting that maybe Red Bull has done things they shouldn't be doing. Nothing official. But I've seen the Twitter rumors. Yo, and let me tell you, F1 is just like boxing with the Twitter rumors. There's so much of it. Like so much of it. So the greediest says every year the first race winner doesn't win the championship. For 7 years straight, man. 7 years. Is that like a big enough pool though? Is that a big enough pool of drivers? I don't know. But the only driver in the field on hard tires is the driver in 20th, and that's Kevin Magnussen. That's what I do know. So maybe the uh only American team in Haas should have sent both their drivers out in soft tires because Kevin has dropped from 17th all the way to 20th. And watch out for the American driver, Logan Sargent, as he's on Norris's tail. So we'll see. Can he overtake Lando? I'm really excited for Sargent. Let me tell you. Yo, gotta support my people. He's from America, Fort Lauderdale, if I'm not mistaken. Gotta support him. Gotta support Checo. So currently, Lando in between the two Williams drivers, Albon in 11th and Sargent in 13th. Yeah, I gotta say, I find it really cool that McLaren has those fucking like ads that change. It's like a fucking running billboard on their car. Um, Not a fast car, at least not today. Lando has dropped from 5th all the way to 12th. Kind of tough start to him, 7 laps in, but we'll see. Verstappen with a 5 second gap on Charles Leclerc. That is unbelievable. In seven, excuse me, like you got to think about it. He's got that in 7 laps. So let's see. Um, right now we have George Russell on the screen in that Mercedes, currently in sixth. Let's see how fast he gets the car on the straightaway. North of 180 miles an hour. That is so fucking fast. 180, right? Another straightaway for him. And now lap 8. Wow. 5.5 seconds. So impressive. 8 laps in. Appreciate everybody tuned in with me early morning here in Las Vegas. The first race of the 2023 season. First of 23 races. We'll be doing a live race watch along every Grand Prix. Expect 23 of those. Expect some to be from some very special locations. Perhaps some international locations, perhaps some on-site from some races. So definitely and expect for me to not be alone. I do have a co-host who will be joining me for the majority of races. She is currently just serving our country. So she was unable to be with us this morning, but she is tuned in. So it will not be a one-man show for 23 races. I can promise you that. So top 3 teams as expected right now are in that top 6. I mean, they round out that top 6. You have Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez, Sainz, Hamilton, and Russell. But Fernando Alonso right there. Fernando had, a weekend that raised a couple eyebrows, but obviously there's always that question. Are they trying to be uh deceitful? Are they trying to truly cover up the real times? But with a second and a half gap difference between, I want to say, the top 10 and Q3, that was impressive. That was fast. Obviously, I'm new to this shit, but that was pretty fast to me. That was impressive. And I think even Checo said it after qualifying how it wasn't something that he was used to seeing. 6-second gap between Max and Charles in 9 laps. 6 seconds. That's crazy. You're talking a nearly 35, or not nearly, a over 35-second gap between the leader Max and last place Kevin Magnussen. 35 seconds in 9 laps. That's pretty dope. Pretty dope. Obviously, Kevin, the only driver out on those hard tires. Yo, I'm probably gonna catch some flack for this, but I haven't been able to finish Drive to Survive, not the new season. I'm like 7 episodes in. I haven't been able to finish it. Been a busy week. Since its release, man. I can't believe it. I can't wait to finish it after, hopefully tonight. Hopefully I'm able to finish it tonight. So Pierre's the first driver in the pit getting a new set of tires. And let's see. 3.7-second pit stop for the Alpine team and Pierre Gasly. That's trash. That is cheeks, if you will. And yeah, I don't know, Pierre. So Pierre is on some hards as well, hard tires. So The only drivers remotely close to Max right now is Charles and Checo. Everybody else is like 14, 15 seconds plus from the leader. Max looks like he is gonna win this race, no problem. Something would have to go wrong with the car, with the pit stop, something of that sort. Because it's like they ain't fucking with him right now. Max is doing his thing. And now Lando in the pit, Yuki in the pit, and now Sargent moves up into 12th. Piatti in that McLaren in 13th. So Williams is looking to get into that points as they are in 11th and 12th currently. And Yuki comes out of the pit, overtaking Gasly. He moves up to 18th. Lando currently in 20th. And now George Russell was on the tail of Fernando Alonso, but Fernando doing a great job as he's done all weekend with the braking and keeping his place. And I said that backwards. That was Alonso trying to on George's tail. So currently 4 drivers on hard tires in the field. Bottas now in pit. Albon now in the pit. So Sargent moves up into the 10th. He's in the points obviously early in the race. Long way to go. Damn. Trying to see. Right now on F1 TV, they have Fernando Alonso. Oof, on the tail of George Russell, as I was saying. Yo, this is really crazy. I can only imagine what it's like to be there live. These cars are driving so fucking fast, man. Appreciate everybody tuned in, rocking out with me early morning. Go ahead, smash that like button. It's free. Hit the subscribe button as well as sorry about that, texting my co-host. But yeah, smash that like button, hit the subscribe. As I've been saying, we will be live for every single race this season. So you'll have somebody regardless of the time. You guys know these F1 races have crazy times. So Lewis Hamilton got a new set of tires. He's come out the pit. Logan Sargent gets a new pair of tires. Ooh, and Alonso does overtake George Russell, moving up into that 5th place. Okay. The old head's still hanging in there, giving the youngin a tough time as he overtakes George. Nice little overtake there. Sargent had a tough time coming out the pit as he dropped from 10th all the way to 16th. See if he could gain some of that back. We see this overtake. replay of Fernando and George. Ooh, good overtake there for Fernando. Really good overtake. And now Charles Leclerc in the pit lane. Let's see how fast pit stop for Ferrari. Double stacking. They didn't fuck it up like they did Monaco last year, though, as Charles and Sainz both pit, and now George Russell in the pit. And yeah, very slow pit stop for Mercedes. Not good. Not good as George Russell loses a position there. That was not a good pit stop. He drops all the way to 10th coming out of the pit. So very slow pit stop for Mercedes and George Russell there. So it is now Verstappen, Checo, Alonso all the way into third, Stroll in fourth, and Leclerc and Sainz. So it is Red Bull, Aston Martin, and Ferrari rounding out the top six. Now Piastri gets a new set of tires. What the hell? So it looks like Piastri with a penalty. Oh wow. And now Verstappen with a pit stop gets a new set of tires. Checo momentarily in the lead, but that was a relatively quick pit stop for Max Verstappen. And Checo, now Alonso gets a new set of tires. He's in pit. And Checo has not got a new set of tires, but he is currently the race leader. Started in second, as it was a Red Bull front row. And we are 15 laps in out of the 57. So currently, majority of the field currently on hard tires. George Russell looking to gain some of that back, moving up into 9th place. So looks like some issues with McLaren because Piastri has not came out of the pit. So I don't know what's going on, to be quite frank. And Alonso ahead of George Russell. Despite the overtake, despite the pit stops, he is still that one spot ahead. This is I have to say, this is quite different and new for me because I do a live show every day and I'm used to, anywhere from 3 to 1,000 people, 300 to 1,000 people watching live. And it looks like Oscar Piastri's out the race. Unfortunate for McLaren, right? Lando Norris all the way in 16th. So very disappointing start for McLaren. Disappointing weekend, to be quite frank. At least thus far. Let's see what Lando can do. Stroll now in the pit. And George Russell with the fastest lap as he overtakes Stroll. As Stroll pits. Alonso still a spot ahead of him, though. And now both Albon and Sargent move up in the Williams. Albon back in the points in 10th place. Oop, I apologize. I'm sure that did not sound pleasant. 10-second gap between the leader, Checo, and his teammate Max Verstappen. Wow, and Bottas has now jumped Alonso and George Russell. So Bottas up into 6 in that Alfa Romeo. So the teams who look strong during qualifying are the teams looking strong today. Red Bull and Ferrari lead the pack, all 4 of their drivers in the leaderboard. And Lewis Hamilton up to 5th place. Valtteri Bottas in the Alfa Romeo in 6th, and Fernando Alonso in the Aston Martin 7th. George Russell in the 2nd Mercedes with the fastest lap thus far today. He is currently in 8th. And Fernando Alonso on Valtteri Bottas' tail, trying to overtake, trying to move up into 6th place. And will he move up? And he does move up with the overtake. Great overtake by Fernando Alonso. Great overtake. Sharp weekend for the old head. And can George Russell do the same and overtake Valtteri Bottas? We shall see. He is on his tail, coming off his fastest lap of the race so far. And now it looks like Checo coming into the pit for the first time. Yes. So it looks like Red Bull is throwing on another set of softs while the rest of the field has put on hards. Red Bull throws a set. Oh no, I misspoke. Oh no, I didn't misspeak. So yes, it looks like Checo is out of the pit, coming out of the pit, down to 3rd. Max Verstappen back in 1st. Charles Leclerc into 2nd. And Checo Perez down to 3rd. So can Checo Perez have success? He is one of 3 drivers on the circuit right now with a set of soft tires on. So we shall see. And the only driver with 2 pit stops so far is the last place driver in 19th, Alex Albon. So let's see. Let's see, can Checo have success with this set of softs? It is Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez, Sainz, and Hamilton, the top 5. Lando now into the pits for the second time today. So there must be an issue. So McLaren just having an awful day. But yeah, I was saying earlier, this is quite new for me. You know, there's 3 people watching live, and I appreciate the hell out of those 3 people right now. But I'm used to 300 to 1,000 people for any given live. So this is quite new. There's usually a lot of people in the chat to interact with, but we're still having fun. We're still rocking out, and we're still enjoying these races. This is the Bahrain Grand Prix, the first of 23 races this year. 3 of those races will be here in the United States of America, the US of A. One obviously Canadian race and one Mexican race round out the 5 North American races this year. So it looks like there has been misinformation. F1 TV has just cleared both Red Bull drivers are on soft tires. And Lando had a nearly 12-second pit stop as McLaren's day just goes from bad to worse. So both Red Bull drivers on soft tires. Can it pay off? 19 laps in. What's that? 28 laps to go, I believe. 30, is that 38? Some shit. The greediest seems to believe that the end of the race is going to be interesting. It's been an interesting weekend, let me tell you. Really, really enjoying the race so far. So it looks like Max not too happy with the downshifts, but so it looks like the soft tires so far paying off, at least for Checo, because he has closed his gap with Charles Leclerc. Seems like 2/10, 3/10 of a second or so. So at this pace, I agree with the greediest. It is going to be interesting at the end of the race. Damn, that's a interesting call. Do not finish. I would have to feel you're calling that for Checo, right? Are you expecting some sort of incident or an issue with the car? So they're saying Ocon hasn't, looks like yeah, Ocon hasn't served his penalty properly. They are investigating that. He's all the way in 18th, and now Checo with the fastest lap of the race, and he keeps closing that gap with Charles Leclerc. And it looks like the fucking soft tires have paid off for Red Bull. Oh, he's saying with Max because his downshifts and rears locking. Yo, I'm gonna be honest with you. Explain more to me because I'm not as privy. I saw him and I heard him on the radio. Obviously, make that clear to the team. Um, but explain more to me because he still has a 10-second gap. But if he's having issues with the car, that could be an issue as we do near the halfway point of the race. Few laps away from that. But now Checo Perez with the fastest lap of the race so far. It was previously George Russell. So it looks like FIA have confirmed that Ocon has incorrectly served his time penalty. So, oh wow. Yeah, I guess they're saying that he didn't line up properly at the beginning of the race. So, and now Checo with another fast lap, and he just keeps closing that gap. Fastest lap once again, fastest lap after fastest lap for Checo Perez. So, can he gain that second place back? It was a Red Bull front row to start the race. So, a 2.5-second gap between Charles Leclerc and Sergio Perez. Can Charles hold off in that Ferrari, or will the soft tires and the Red Bull car gain that place back? We shall see. Okay, so he can't downshift as fast and his rear axle's tightening up basically. Okay. Man, I mean, we'll see. Obviously, something I'm keeping an eye out for. You know more than I do. I just see that gap, that time gap increase. It looks like those soft tires have paid off for Red Bull for both Max and for Checo as Max increases his lead and Checo narrows his gap. Oh man. Shout out to my boy Frank Stay in the chat. Brother, I appreciate you more than you know. One of the realest. And back to back fastest laps for Checo Perez. So him and Charles Leclerc are going to be in for a battle. That is 3 laps in a row. Checo fastest lap. So Lando looking to move from the last place on the circuit to 18th, looking to overtake Ocon, who did have issues with that time penalty, as I mentioned earlier, in the Alpine. So, and Checo has narrowed his gap less than 2 seconds now on Charles Leclerc. Those soft tires have really paid off for the Red Bulls. And it looks like we're going to have a battle in the next few laps. And honestly, probably for the rest of the race, I cannot wait. Super excited. Go ahead, smash that like button. Go ahead and subscribe. I hope you're enjoying the race. We are nearing that halfway point. We are 23 of 57 laps in. And Norris and Ocon going at it. Battle for last. As Lando has overtook Ocon, and he is now into 18th place. Can Lando get some momentum, man? He started in fucking 5th. And now Checo coming up on Charles Leclerc, less than a second and a half. Looks like about 1.3 seconds behind the Ferrari for the Mexican driver. And Checo has had the 3 fastest laps of the race so far. Damn. So Ferrari on the radio telling, yo, that shit was comical. Ferrari on the radio telling Charles Leclerc that he's slower than expected, as obviously Checo has closed that gap and he's looking to overtake Charles. And now they're less than half a second within each other. So it's going to be a battle for sure. Checo on that ass. Come here. Let's go. And now Checo using DRS. And now he's looking to overtake. Oof. And he couldn't. And now Esteban Ocon with a penalty. Another one. 10-second penalty. Goes from bad to worse for Alpine, as he's currently in 19th last place, as Piastri is out in that McLaren. So 10-second time penalty for serving the first time penalty incorrectly for Ocon. But let's see. Can Checo overpass Leclerc? Let's see. About a half-second gap there between the Red Bull and the Ferrari. Got to give it to Leclerc. He's held off Perez for the last few laps. But Checo been on that ass and obviously closing that gap. Those soft tires have really paid off for the Red Bulls. Him and Max are both on softs. as the rest of the field went from softs to hard, they chose to stay. They chose to stay with the soft tires. So let's see. Checo with the overtake. Let's fucking go, baby. And he overtakes. Checo Perez overtakes Charles Leclerc back into second place, back as it started. Front row for Red Bull. Max Verstappen, the defending champion, in first. Checo into second. Leclerc was hoping to get back, but he couldn't. And Leclerc was kind of wide there into turn one. And let's see what Perez can do as he's now into second. Can he increase his lead? We saw him in third, obviously close that gap, be able to overtake Leclerc on those soft tires, Leclerc on the hards. I believe it was like a 3.5 second gap when he came out of the pit. So can he increase? Can Checo increase his lead? Currently a little over a second already on Charles. And now Alonso, he's only about a second and a half behind Lewis Hamilton. You got Lewis Hamilton about 4 seconds behind Carlos Sainz, who's currently in fourth. So those are the battles to keep an eye out for in the next few laps. Checo in second place still, and just increasing that lead on Charles Leclerc, more than 2 seconds now. So Lewis Hamilton has moved up 2 spots from where he started, from 7th to 5th. The front four has changed throughout the race, but currently the same as it started. Max, Checo, Charles, and Carlos. And now the American Logan Sargent back into the point position as he's into 10th. We do have Albon and Yuki in the pit. So let's see what they choose to go with. And the William and the AlphaTauri teams choose to stay with the hard tires coming out of the pit. So you currently only have Logan Sargent, Lando Norris, Max, and Checo on the soft tires. The rest of the drivers are on hards. So Lando looking to move from 17th to 16th as he's behind Pierre Gasly in the Alpine. And Charles more than 3 seconds behind Checo since being overtook. So just to put things into perspective, Checo has gained about 6 or 7 seconds since, getting these soft tires. The American team in Haas not having the greatest day. Hulkenberg in 19th place. Started in 10th, if I'm not mistaken. Oof. So replay there of Ocon overtaking them in the Alpine. And now a 4-second gap between Checo Perez and Charles Leclerc. So Red Bull, I think it's hard to deny at this point, they have the fastest car. No question about it. Lando in the pit. And now Esteban Ocon, another penalty, another 5 seconds. Man, rough days for Alpine and McLaren. Holy hell. Yo, it's like a football game, penalty after penalty. So we are lap 29 of 57 right now. You know, I was honestly intrigued to see could Checo close his gap at all with Max, but you know, Max keeping a 13 and a half second lead, comfortable lead on Checo right now. I'm sure Red Bull and Christian Horner are quite happy with it. Exactly, bro. Ocon just out here getting penalties like it ain't shit. It's like Ja Morant. Oh man. So it looks like Lando Norris on medium tires. Is that what the M is? And now Hulkenberg in 18th place in the American Haas car with the fastest lap. So let's see. Um Checo previously had the fastest lap, the previous three fastest laps for that matter. Okay. Medium tires. Yo, are you watching on ESPN or F1 TV? I'm just curious. Cuz I'm watching on F1 TV. I'm just curious what it's like on ESPN. I saw how much ESPN paid for the TV rights for F1 this year, and I saw how much it was last year, from 5 to 75 million. No denying the increase in popularity, the drastic increase in popularity, especially here in America for Formula One. Bottas in the pit, Magnussen in the pit, Sargent moves up to 9th, Albon moves up to 12th, Gasly and Sonoda into 13th and 14th. And now over a 6 second gap between Checo and Perez. I'm same person. Ha! Checo and Leclerc, my bad. Okay, F1 TV. Yeah, I fuck with this. Better than the zone trying to kill us on the boxing. I think the zone actually has F1 rights internationally, if I'm not mistaken. And now it looks like who's this? Lewis Hamilton in the pit. Will Mercedes put on the softs? Huh. And now Stroll in the pit. As so they kept George Russell on hard tires. Sargent in the pit. Bottas up to 10th. Albon up to 11th. Sargent drops to 14th. As he got a new set of tires. Nearly 14 seconds between the leader, Max Verstappen, and his teammate Checo Perez. Both on soft tires, and it's paid off for Red Bull Racing, no question about it. It looks like Sainz is about to pit as well, and he does. He was in fourth. So let's see what Alonso and Russell can do. George Russell right behind. So he'll be in pit as well, and he is. Now we have Fernando Alonso in the Aston Martin move up to fourth. George Russell in the pit gets a new set of tires as well. So Hamilton moves up to six. Russell comes out the pit and is going to be tight with Stroll. And he's in front of. Ooh, yup. He is able to hold off Lance Stroll, but Lance Stroll on that ass. Lance Stroll on George Russell ass. Lance Stroll on George Russell ass, and he overtakes George Russell. Yes, sir, he does. Yes, he does. Russell down into the 8th place. Aston Martin, Lance Stroll into 7th. Lewis Hamilton in 6th. And the other Aston Martin, Fernando Alonso in 4th place. Hell of a day for Aston Martin. Hell of a weekend for Aston Martin thus far. And let's not forget, Lance Stroll has that injury. He fucked up his wrist. My boy, he was trying to learn to ride a bike and he fell or some shit. So great overtake by Lance Stroll. It was close for George Russell coming out of the pit, though. So right now, the leader, Max Verstappen, and Lewis Hamilton, who is in 6th with a 1-minute gap. Red Bull fast. And now Aston Martin, Lance Stroll, I was just talking about, with the fastest lap of the race, minute 36, 5:46. So can Aston Martin, who currently have 2 drivers in the top 7, can they get points? Alonso is currently, 12 seconds, 13, 15 seconds. 15 seconds behind Leclerc. Holy hell, Alpine is on a roll. Ocon with another time penalty. Yo, Ocon having a rough day. Another penalty. Jeez. And now Leclerc in the pit. So what can Alonso do? What can Alonso do? Fast pit stop for Ferrari. And Alonso is gonna overtake. Yup, 2.3. Not the fastest, but it was fast. So Alonso and the Aston Martin up into 3rd. Let's not forget the top 3 drivers have only had 1 pit stop, while the rest of the field has had 2. Ocon with his 3rd, Norris with his 3rd as well. So we got to see Max, Checo, and Fernando all hit the pit stop at least once more. 33 laps to go. Man, what a day thus far. If you are tuned in, I appreciate you. Definitely would appreciate you smashing that like button, giving me a subscribe, as I will be going live for all 23 Grand Prix this year. And Checo hitting the pit as he's been told to box. Bucks. And hard tire standing by for Checo Perez, who has been on softs. And he is now That was not a fast pit stop for Red Bull at all, 2.7 seconds. But Checo Perez will hold on to that second place as Fernando Alonso pitting as well. So very nice advantage for Checo. Leclerc back into third as he's already pit for the second time. So now Alonso drops to fifth. Ferrari back into fourth. Hamilton into fifth. Alonso drops all the way into sixth. So we'll keep an eye out, see if Fernando can gain some of that time back. So everybody on hards now, if I'm not mistaken. And Red Bull had issues with that front right, hence the fast or slower than usual pit stop for Red Bull. So the leader, Max Verstappen, he'll have to stop as he's still on his soft tires. But I'll have to say 38 seconds. 38-second gap for the leader in Max, the defending champion, and George Russell in eighth, second and a quarter behind the Aston Martin Lance Stroll, Fernando Alonso in sixth, and a second behind George Russell in the Mercedes in fifth place. So there's going to be okay. Let's see if Red Bull chooses to throw on the tires for Max now, or if they'll wait as Max is still on his soft tires. Very comfortable lead. Very, very comfortable lead. You're talking a 47-second lead between Max and the third place Ferrari car in Charles Leclerc. And now Max Verstappen is boxing. He will get, it looks like a hard set of tires. So I'm sure he'll hold on to that first place as he had such a large lead on his teammate Checo. 2.3 second pit stop for Max Verstappen and the Red Bull team, and he is out of that pit lane in under 25 seconds. And now it looks like Lando there ahead of Verstappen coming out of the pit lane, but obviously not ahead of him on the leaderboard, just on the track itself. So Verstappen coming out of that pit lane still with a 12-second gap between him and his teammate Checo Perez, and Fernando Alonso with the fastest lap of the race as he's looking to overtake Lewis Hamilton, who is in fifth in the Mercedes. And he does. Fernando Alonso overtakes, but Lewis Hamilton looking to get his place back, and he does. What a battle between between Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso. The Mercedes and the Aston Martin going at it neck to neck, battling for fifth. Obviously, those points are crucial early in the season. And we'll look at the replay. Toto looking like Toto, but we'll see if there was some contact there. Fernando Alonso using DRS here. And he does not make the move into turn 11, trying to overtake Lewis Hamilton. But very, very tight between the Aston Martin and the Mercedes driver. And now Checo with less than a 12-second gap between himself and Max. 19 laps to go. Let's see if Fernando Alonso can overtake Lewis Hamilton. The two oldest guys driving. Fernando 41, Lewis 38. And then Alonso once again using DRS, but excuse me. Oh wow. Excuse me again. Man, so tight between Fernando and Lewis Hamilton. Nearly hit, and Fernando overtakes Hamilton once again. What an overtake. Fernando Alonso now into the 5th place in that Aston Martin. Lewis down into 6th. Great driving between both men. As it is a battle between Aston Martin and Mercedes, both 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And all drivers within a second or two of each other. That is Hamilton on Alonso, and that is, I'm trying to see if there was some contact there. It doesn't seem that way. But Russell obviously trying to get that 7th place on Stroll. So it's a battle between Aston Martin and Mercedes. And now, can Hamilton with the DRS overtake Alonso? We shall see. Did use the DRS there, but doesn't attempt an overtake. Man, great racing so far. And we have 18 laps to go. Looks like Verstappen, at least thus far, hasn't had any more downshift issues. Let's see if the Red Bull car can hold for another 17 laps. Hold that lead, that is. Can Alonso close that gap? He has the fastest lap thus far. Can he close that gap? It is 2.5 seconds between him and Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari. Battle for 4th. Hamilton only less than a second behind Alonso, so that's still a battle for 5th. But Alonso obviously in a very fast Aston Martin. And Albon in the Williams holding on to that 10th place, but Pierre Gasly in the Alpine, who's had a rough day, only a second behind him. So obviously Pierre, for the first time in the Alpine, looking to score points. We'll keep an eye out for that. So Ocon is saying, I've been doing these things in practice since I've joined Formula One. Why are they doing these things now? Why are they giving me penalties now? He's been on a fucking roll, let me tell you. It's been a rough day for Alpine. Ocon in 18th. Been a rough day. Penalty after penalty. 16 laps to go. Oh no. Charles Leclerc comes to a stop. Oh shit. Charles Leclerc comes to a stop and the Ferrari's down. Yellow flag. Carlos Sainz, and it looks like the Ferrari is out. Carlos Sainz is the only Ferrari left. Charles Leclerc, DNF, do not finish, did not finish, will not finish. What a rough day. So Carlos Sainz, the only hope for a podium for Ferrari today, as Charles Leclerc is out of nowhere. Albon into 9th, Gasly into 10th, Tsunoda into 11th. And we see the replay. It just shut off. Wow. It just shut off. Charles slowed down for a turn, and the Ferrari just seemed to shut off on him. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Can Carlos Sainz hold on to 3rd for a podium? Or will we see Fernando Alonso? Fuck. Disappointment for Charles Leclerc as we saw him. Wow. He qualified, came in 3rd, and now Carlos Sainz into 3rd. Leclerc will have a DNF. Tough day for Ferrari now. Man, disappointment. So just to remind everybody, they did change that battery before the race on the Ferrari. That was maybe an hour or two before the start of the race that they changed that battery on Charles Leclerc's Ferrari. Disappointing day as he's out. Safety car ending. It is Verstappen, Checo, Sainz, top 3, but Alonso, Fernando Alonso, can he do it? Can we see 41-year-old, the oldest driver in the field, get points? The second oldest, Lewis Hamilton, less than a second behind him. Or will we see Carlos Sainz and the Ferrari hold off and get a podium? Man, what a day. Disappointment for Charles Leclerc and the Ferrari as the car just shut off on him. Less than 20 laps to go. 15 laps currently. And I just want to mention that Checo has been closing the gap. He is 10 seconds between his teammate. And now Albon and Gasly going at it over 9th. Obviously, points crucial for both Williams and the Alpine team. Alpine's had such a terrible day with Ocon. Can they get points, though? And now Tsunoda passes his teammate and Nick DeVries. And AlphaTauri looking to get points as Tsunoda's into 11th. Albon in 10th. Sargent, the American driver, all the way in 14th. Sub 10 seconds for Checo now. And 3 seconds separate Carlos Sainz, Fernando Alonso, and Lewis Hamilton, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So that is where we will be keeping an eye out. Who gets the last spot on podium? Can Ferrari hold off? Can Carlos Sainz do it? We shall see. And we see how Pierre moved up into 9th with that overtake. And now Gasly with the fastest lap. Ocon in the pit. And he is out. 3rd retirement of the day. Tsunoda back up to 12. Oh no, I'm sorry. He is into 11th. And Checo, I'm curious, how much can he close the gap? Because he's been closing the gap quite a bit on his teammate Max Verstappen. And now Alonso only less than a second behind Carlos Sainz. Can the 41-year-old get a podium today? We shall see. And Lewis Hamilton 2 seconds behind, but it looks like the Aston Martin, the fastest car today, as Stroll ahead of George Russell as well. Less than half a second, or about half a second between Fernando Alonso and Carlos Sainz. 13 laps to go. Can Aston Martin do it? Or will Ferrari do it as disappointment? Charles Leclerc is out of the race. Sargent up to 13th. Albon in 10th. Will Williams get points? Can both Williams drivers get points? We shall see. Carlos feels that if he defends, he will not make it to the end. We shall see as Fernando Alonso on that ass, looking to get a podium himself. Don't mind me. You know, as I brush the beard, play with the beard, whatever. And now Fernando looking to overtake Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari. Can he do it? Or can Carlos Sainz hold off? We shall see. Fernando on that ass. He goes for the overtake, comes short. Oh, and they have contact. Ferrari and the Aston Martin contact. As Fernando is looking to overtake, he's looking for that podium. He's looking for third. On that ass is Fernando Alonso. Carlos Sainz holding off strong. We see. Can Fernando do it on a straightaway? Carlos Sainz holding off tough, but 12 laps to go. Uh-oh. And Alonso going for it on the straightaway. And he does it. Fernando Alonso into third place. Will we see Aston Martin get points today? Carlos Sainz down into fourth. Hamilton a second behind him. Less than a second now. Wow. What a job by Fernando Alonso and the Aston Martin today. Lance Stroll moves up into sixth ahead of George Russell. Oh, man. What a day for Fernando Alonso. What a day. And Sainz, he keeps less than a second gap on Alonso. Lewis keeps less than a second gap on Carlos Sainz. Will we see the Mercedes make a comeback in Lewis Hamilton, or will we see the OG and Fernando Alonso hold off? Man, what a race thus far. Really enjoying this one. And Alonso and Carlos Sainz did have contact, but both cars seem fine. Alonso had drifted a bit wide there and hit the Ferrari, but he holds on to third with more than a second gap now between himself and Carlos Sainz. So we have Alfa Romeo, Alpine, and Williams round out the top 10, will we see one of these teams make a move, man? Or will they fuck up their point situation? Let's see. Max Verstappen with a very comfortable lead, a little over 10 seconds on his teammate Checo Perez, and Checo with an even more comfortable hold to second as he has more than 15-second gap on Fernando Alonso. I'm sorry, more than a 25-second gap. I misread that. And Hamilton looking to overtake Carlos Sainz. Can he do it less than half a second? If he does it, though, I don't know that we'll see him on the podium, though. Fernando looking sharp. He's looking fast, and he has more than 2.5 seconds on Lewis. I don't think Mercedes is fast enough for it today. I think we'll see Fernando hold off. We'll need something drastic to happen. 10 laps to go. First race of the 2023 season. Bahrain. Ocon, Leclerc, and Piastri all out. So only 17 drivers left in the field. So we'll see. Can Fernando hold on to third? And that would really shift things up, right? Because that would mean no podium for Ferrari. That would mean no podium for Mercedes, and obviously, both from a driver and a team perspective, make things difficult early on into the season. We shall see. We shall see what happens, though. But Lewis is looking to make a move on Carlos Sainz, who is in fourth. Alonso stretching that gap on Carlos Sainz more than 3 seconds now. And it looks like Carlos is asking the team, why is he bouncing so much? Obviously, that was such an issue last year. Lando Norris in last place. Very disappointing for McLaren. One car out, their other driver in last, not even close. He's in the picture, literally in the picture, but not a close race. And now Lando pits. Tough day for McLaren, right? Basically, another test session, if you will, for McLaren. Not much different than what last week. They're still trying to figure things out. That is more than apparent. Hamilton less than half a second behind Carlos Sainz and fourth with 8 laps to go. And Fernando Alonso, sharp weekend. There was questions. Whether the whether the practice would be reflective today, whether the qualifying time would be reflective today. And that has seemed to be the case as Aston Martin and Fernando Alonso look to hold on to third and get a podium. More than 5 seconds gap for Fernando Alonso and Carlos Sainz in fourth. 7 laps to go now. Pierre Gasly with the fastest lap so far today. Let's see if somebody beats that time. So Fernando seems to be playing it safe, letting the team know, and he's let the team know, yo, let me know what's going on behind me. He calls it level 7. I'm pretty sure that just means, yo, I'm playing it safe. I'm driving safe. Let's hold on to this podium. I got the fast car, so. And he does have a fast car. More than 5 second gap between him and Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari. Charles Leclerc out of the race, disappointed with like 16 laps to go. The Ferrari shut down on him. Mick Schumacher, first year Mercedes reserve driver, looking on closely in the garage. Six laps to go, but it looks like it'll be a Max Verstappen, Checo Perez, and Fernando Alonso podium, as Aston Martin just too fast for the Ferrari and the Mercedes in Carlos Sainz and in Lewis Hamilton. Lance Stroll in the second Aston Martin in 6th. George Russell in the second Mercedes in 7th. Bottas in the Alfa Romeo in 8th. Gasly in the Alpine in 9th. And Albon in 10th. Can Tsunoda in the in the AlphaTauri, can he get points? We shall see. He is currently in 11th, Sargent in 12th. Can the American make a move? But huge gap between him and Tsunoda. So it looks like Williams could get one driver to get points today. Fernando increasing his lead gap on Carlos Sainz, 6 seconds now. And it looks like Mercedes not fast enough to overtake the Ferrari for 4th. We shall see, though. 5 laps to go. Oh, Kevin Magnussen overtaking Nick DeVries. So the Haas moving up into 14th. And let's see. We see a replay. Lance Stroll here, currently in 6th. Big mistake on turn 10. Came in a little too fast. A little wider there. It's currently 7:30 p.m. in Bahrain, 8:30 in the morning here in Las Vegas. Fernando Alonso now 7 seconds ahead. So it looks like he's going to hold on to that as long as he doesn't have any issues with the car. Great weekend for Aston Martin. Alonso on the radio. He's saying this is a lovely car to drive, so he's happy with the performance, and obviously he should be. Very fast Aston Martin car. Started in 5th, has moved up to 3rd, and he looks to hold on to 3rd for a podium. And Lance Stroll started in 8th, and the other Aston Martin, he's in 6th. So both Aston Martin looking to get points today. Man, what a day. 3 looks like 44, 44. Let me see. Yeah, 4 laps to go. And it looks like Fernando, as long as he holds on, will get his 99th podium today. So 4 laps to go. Alex Albon in 10th for the Williams. Started in 15th, so obviously huge day for him if he could hold on to 10th. A little more than a second gap on Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri. But Williams looking to get points. Can Yuki do it in the AlphaTauri? We shall see. Will it be the Red Bull second team or will it be the Mercedes second team? Which one will it be to get points today? Less than a second now between Tsunoda and Albon. So obviously, very, very important in the midfield for those two teams to get points today. And we all know Yuki, he loves to take risks. Can he overtake Williams, the Williams driver and Albon? 3 laps to go. Who gets the points? And nearly half a second for that 10th place. As Yuki is looking to get on the board today for AlphaTauri. So let's keep an eye out on that. Let's see as less than 3 laps to go here. You know, those midfield teams, this is what it's about, getting those points. So very important battle for 10th between Tsunoda and Albon. And Albon started in 15th, so big day for him. Tsunoda started in 14th, big day for him. Who can do it? 3 laps to go. Pierre Gasly's probably had the best day out of everybody. He started in last. And obviously it's been a rough day for Alpine. He's all the way in 9th though. So from last to points, with your teammate not finishing, I think Pierre probably has had the best day so far. Fernando having another great day. Arguable that he's had the best day. 2 laps to go. Max holding on to a very comfortable lead. Checo holding on to a very comfortable second. Fernando holding on to a very comfortable third. Fernando back on the radio. So let's see. 2 laps to go. Yuki Tsunoda still less than half a second behind Albon. Can he do it with less than 2 laps to go, or will it be the Williams team to get on the scoreboard to get points today? We shall see. 2 laps to go. Red Bull finishing the same way they started, front row, or they should be finishing the same way they started. 1 lap to go now. Max Verstappen comfortable in first. Checo Perez comfortable in second. Fernando Alonso comfortable in third. Looks like that'll be the podium we get. The checkered flag is ready. Let's see. As Max is about to come through. This will be his first win in Bahrain. And great day for Pierre as he goes from 20th to 9th. And he gets points for the Alpine, who had a very tough day penalty after penalty for Ocon, but Pierre Gasly came through and looks to get points for that Alpine team. Pierre did have the fastest lap today. And can Pierre move up into 8th as he's catching up to Bottas in the Alfa Romeo last lap coming up? It'd be intriguing. Obviously, at this point, it's just a battle for points. Final lap. Last lap. We are on the final lap. Max has been in the lead this whole race, outside of momentarily during the pit stops and things like that. But Red Bull, phenomenal day, unmatched. Honestly, Checo was in 3rd momentarily, but he battled, and obviously hell of a day for him. Max will get his first Bahrain Grand Prix victory. Red Bull 1st and 2nd, as they were yesterday after qualifying. So Red Bull podium, and Fernando Alonso overtook Carlos Sainz. Charles Leclerc did not finish. He came out about 16, 17 laps to go. So a lot of questions, honestly. Very terrible day for McLaren. Probably the worst day for McLaren. Ferrari with a rough day as they will not be on the podium. Charles Leclerc came in 3rd yesterday and could not finish today. So very rough day. Yeah, I expect a lot of changes for the next race. Obviously, first race of the season. And now Max Verstappen is crossing that finish line. He gets the checkered flag. First ever Bahrain Grand Prix for Max Verstappen. Checo Perez in 2nd for Red Bull 1-2, and Fernando Alonso will come in 3rd to round out the podium. And Red Bull, with a very strong team start, will have a very big advantage on that Constructors' Cup standings to start off the season. And Fernando Alonso, you got to give it to him crossing that podium. Shout out to him. And phenomenal day for Aston Martin. Phenomenal weekend. Carlos Sainz will get points. The only points for Ferrari today. Lewis Hamilton came in 5th. Lance Stroll in 6th for Aston Martin getting points. George Russell in 7th for Mercedes getting points. And now Bottas will get points for the Alfa Romeo. Pierre Gasly, shout out to him from 20th to 9th. Phenomenal day as he puts Alpine on the board. And it looks like Tsunoda could not do it. He will not get points for the AlphaTauri, but Williams in 10th, Alex Albon will get points for the Williams team. So what a day for Red Bull. What a day for Pierre Gasly. What a day for Fernando Alonso. Max Verstappen, Checo Perez, Fernando Alonso on the podium. Great race. Obviously, disappointing for McLaren. I'm sure Ferrari's definitely disappointed as Charles did not finish. Carlos Sainz could not make the podium, but he did come in 4th. A lot of questions after this first week for Ferrari, a lot of questions for McLaren, a lot of questions for Mercedes, to be quite honest with you. So I'm excited for the season. I'm excited for the race. This was the first Midfield Mindset Grand Prix live watch along. So thank you everybody for tuning in with me. You can all follow us on social media. Head on over. We are on Instagram, Midfield Mindset. We are on Twitter, which it's so tough. But we will definitely be more active and be active on Twitter, period. So head on over. Make sure to give us a follow on all forms of social media. Make sure you smash the subscribe button. Make sure you smash the like button. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Like I said, you can expect me to be live for all 23 Grand Prix. I will be eventually doing the qualifiers as well. Be on the lookout for Drive to Survive recap. Obviously, the new season just dropped last week. I have not finished it, but I will be recapping that. So great day for the Red Bulls as they come first, second, and a phenomenal day for Fernando Alonso and Aston Martin as they hit the podium coming in third. But on behalf of myself, Ringwalk Danny on Instagram, on Twitter, Midfield Mindset on Instagram, on Twitter, we appreciate it. First of many more to come. Be on the lookout, but make sure to give us a follow. Peace. Make sure to tune in for the next one from Saudi Arabia. Get on Twitter, Danny. It's about to be a lot of spaces about the race. I'm gonna go check it out, man. Ringwalk Danny, the Midfield Mindset. Appreciate each and every one of you. See you guys for the next one. Peace.